Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How are you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing my haul in retrospect for July and August of 2021. So for this video series on my channel, I come back to you and I go over the products that I picked up last year at this time and tell you my thoughts on those products a year later. Sometimes it's very, very dismal. Sometimes I haven't even used the products, and sometimes I've used them a lot. Sometimes I've used them so much that I've decided that I hate them, that they got decluttered, they went to somebody else. Sometimes I've used them enough that I've emptied them. So for me, it is a wonderful part of this low buy like mentality that I have, or conscious spending, I guess, mentality that I have. So the more and more I do this, the more and more I realize what portions of my spending habits were actually kind of toxic for my collection. With that said, that is what we're doing today. There was a lot that I brought in July and August of last year, and I'll tell you my thoughts on those products. Some of it's really, really good. Some of it's not so much so. So I hope that sounds like something you're interested in. If it is, then please stick around. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high and colorful beauty and self-care. I also work in the beauty industry as a field leader for Ulta Beauty, so I get a lot of education in my position. I like to bring you that education here on my platform. I love to talk about makeup. I'm assuming that if you're here on my channel watching me right now, you probably also like to talk about makeup. So I think that you found the right spot, and if you feel the same way at the end of the day, when you get done with this video, I would love it if you'd subscribe before you went. All of the intros all out on the table for you. Let's roll into this haul in retrospect. I think you'll find it interesting. It's definitely gotten hot in this room, and we're starting to battle the sunshine. You guys have been with me when I've battled the sunshine before, so I'm hoping to get done with this video before the sunshine peeks its ugly head through, well, its beautiful head through the windows enough to like defeat the fact that I'm in here trying to record. So in July, everything that I'm going to go over with you to begin with is in July. I'll let you know when we switch over to August, because I think that you'll be shocked. There's only 2 items that I picked up in August throughout this entire haul in retrospect. I picked up a lot of like items that didn't like filter into beauty during July. In addition to these, I picked up a Kate Spade purse and a Calvin Klein wallet. I just replaced my Kate Spade purse, not because it's, you know, trash, but because I need a new purse every single year. I still have that Calvin Klein wallet. I'm not sure that I love it, if I'm honest. I picked up clothes. My daughter got me a Hydro Flask. I got some candles, all the things, right? From the perspective of beauty, there were so many things. You guys, look at my paper. So many things that filtered into my beauty category in the month of July. So I did get some things from Benefit. One of those was one of their packs of like 4 mini mascaras for spending a certain amount of money at Benefit, and I no longer have that pack. I gave away those mascaras. You all have seen my mascara inventory. If not, I'll link it up in the cards for you. I have way too many mascaras to keep the minis. However, I should have kept it because later on that month I had to pick up a mini because I was going out of town and I forgot my mascara. Either way, I would have forgotten my mascara. So there's that. I also got the Benefit Pomade. So this is a new brow product that they came out with at that time last year, and mine is in the shade 3.5 neutral medium brown, and as you guys can see, I haven't used it. I am not a pomade kind of person in my brows unless it's like colorful, like the KVD Super Brows. I use those in my brows all the time. I very rarely will use this kind of product. However, this is not the only time I've ever had this in my life. Like, I had it in my life to try prior to getting this, like a little ish of it to try. It's a wonderful product. What I love especially about this component, and a lot of people, this was like the greatest thing about this product, is you could buy, you know, a brush to come with it, but even if you didn't buy that brush, this has a little like ledge on it, so that you could scoop your product off. You didn't have to get too much product, but any product sitting on that ledge was still going to stay moist. And I have to be honest with you, even though this has been in my collection for a year at this point. It's still really moist to the touch. And now there's a big fingerprint in it. Sometimes just love the look of something brand new, but now it'll give me incentive to use it because I've touched it. I picked up some items from Sephora. I picked up a Cinema Secrets, which I emptied. I purchased a new one and I just showed that in my empties for this month. So this is something that I pick up all the time, not a big deal. I also got the Gimme Some Balm kit from Sephora. Sometimes I love their kits. The biggest reason why I wanted this kit is because it did come with 2 full-size items. So I did get a Pat McGrath lip balm in Nude Venus, and this is what this one looks like. Beautiful balm, and I have used it 100,000 times. I really love this balm. And then I also got a full-size Sephora lip balm in coconut. I love me a coconut scent. I love coconut balm. I haven't opened this one up at all. A lot of reason why I bought the balm kit though was to give some products to my daughter. There was a Tarte Jelly Glaze in there that I gave to her. I also gave her the Fresh Rose Petal Soft Lip Cream. Those are the 2 items that she picked. And then I had these 2 also that filtered into my collection as well. This one is the Ilia Potted Lip Balm. This is just a little tiny mini guy, not a full size, but I think that you can see I haven't used this either. I'm certain that it's still good. It still smells really nice, which is shocking to me because Ilia is considered a clean brand if I remember correctly. But then the Tower 28 Lip Jelly and Chill, you can see it's almost gone. I actually put this into my project pan because it was my purse gloss and I kept forgetting about it. So I put it into my project pan and that's how I've seen this be almost gone. It will probably be gone by the end of the month. I got the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. This is in the scent Sweet Candy. It was new to them at the time and it smells so good and I love this stuff. I also picked up the Laneige Lip Balm in the tube in Gummy Bear. And that is in my purse and I forgot to grab it. I still have it. I still use it. I love it. I picked up also from Sephora the Makeup by Mario sticks. I got a blush stick and a sculpting stick. I love the sculpting stick. It is really a beautiful tone for contouring. And the blush I also love. It's just a really deep blush and more of like a fall and winter tone, so I'm really super excited to get some more usage out of it here shortly. I hate the brush on these guys. It's worthless. I would rather have a smaller component and a cheaper price than have that brush on them because those brushes, and I think if you looked at anybody's channel who's reviewing those, they would tell you the same thing. The brushes are worthless. They don't blend for shit. The Dior Powder No Powder, this was totally a Samantha March made me buy it purchase, but I think you guys can see I love the poop out of this powder and I'm not a powder wearer. Most of the time I'm not wearing makeup when I put this powder on my face. It just does something magical to your skin, just evens everything out, makes everything just look beautiful. I love this powder, even though I'm not a powder wearer, so that's saying a lot. I also bought the Ciate London Mermaid Glow highlight, and I remember talking about this in that video about how I had just watched Lauren May Beauty do a video asking why this was even still a thing, and there was no market for it and nobody was buying it. I had just picked it up when I watched that, and she's absolutely right. There's no market for it. Nobody's buying it. Nobody should want it. I haven't even used it. I haven't even touched it. I haven't even swatched it. I remember being like, I don't know why I bought this. I don't know why I bought this. I haven't even touched it. So there's that. I also bought the Tower 28 cream blush. This is one of their Power Hour blushes in Beach Please. This is a beautiful blush. And here's the story. I've heard that these go bad relatively quickly too. And while I thought mine was going bad like sometime around like the December time frame, it's just still carrying on and it looks perfectly fine. It smells perfectly fine. It still works just as well as it did the day I picked it up. Like, it's doing a really dang good job. I love this blush. And again, though, like the Plumberry by Makeup by Mario, it's definitely more of a fall blush. So I am super excited for fall to be coming at us again so that I can get some more usage out of that blush. And then lastly, from Sephora, I picked up the Natasha Denona mini retro palette, and this was obviously before she came out with the midi size retro palette, and I just love this color story, and this had been on my list for quite some time, and I went back and forth with whether I was going to pick it up or not, and I finally eventually decided to pick it up because I was like, she's never going to come out with a bigger palette. And then lo and behold, she came out with a bigger retro palette. The retro palette that's the midi size does not look anything like this palette, if I'm honest. But it is one of my favorite Natasha Denona palettes, and this is one of my favorite minis from her, and I think it's just because the color story is so interesting. It's just an interesting color story. Like those corals and pinks with those kind of grungy, sagey greens. Love it. So then let's talk about what I picked up from Ulta Beauty, and there was quite a bit. So first and foremost, I picked up the Flower Beauty Desert Lights palette. I do have a palette roulette on this, and I believe every palette that I have in this, so I will link those up in the cards. I liked this so much that I picked up the Desert Lights when it came out because they're beautiful, impactful, like just gorgeous metallics that you need in your collection. However, I don't want to influence anybody in any way, but like this green, what? Like why wouldn't you want that in your collection? It's a beautiful palette. I can't wait to try out the Desert Lights one. It is more of a neutral tone palette, so I'm excited about that. I think it would go really great with this palette, if I'm honest. So then I also picked up some stuff from Benefit. I got the Benefit Professional Hydrating and Pearl Minis. And this was me picking these up because I was going out of town and forgot my primer. Then I never used them. I just finished those 2 primers in my project pan. I also got a mini of the Sugar Bomb, which was a blush that was in one of their face palettes that I never ever owned, and I was excited to try. I have tried this blush. It's just meh. It's not an amazing blush, but it's also not a bad blush. I did get this in Peachy Pink. This is one of the California Kissin' Balms. I have worn this a couple of times. I bought it specifically. It is this color right here. I bought it specifically to wear with a certain outfit. Note to self, don't buy a completely, one giant, just find a lip product that works with that outfit that you already own. And then I also bought a Buxom lip gloss, and this is in Vanilla Latte. I really can't say I know what I was thinking. Smells so good. I really don't know what I was thinking with this lip gloss because it is like legit yellow orange. Do you guys see it right there? It looks like concealer on my lips, but oh my god, it smells so good. But I also have like pumpkin spice latte and another one I can't remember. This was the last one that I didn't have in the collection that they were promoting for fall, so I thought I needed to get it because my god, if I didn't have it, I wouldn't have the whole set. Stupid of me. Both of these have been used, but both of them I don't use hardly ever anymore because I just don't love them. I also picked up the Lily Lashes Power Liner, which is an eyelash glue. That was just recently in my empties, so I did use that and used it up, but it was the stupidest product I've ever owned. I actually put it as one of the items in my declutter tag that I decluttered because it was a makeup item that's impractical. It's impractical when it is clear liner that's glue for your lashes, but nothing comes out of it, and you have to press so hard to get anything out of it that it hurts your eyeballs to use. Yeah, so I actually did not love that item, but here we are. I did pan it. I'm super happy that I got the usage out of it. I also got an IT Cosmetics Finishing Press Powder. I got this because I had just went through an IT Cosmetics education moment for work and thought that pressed powder sounded amazing. And truth be told, I'm not a powder girl. I've never been a powder girl. So I didn't love it. I actually quite hated it. It left a white cast. It left my skin feeling weird. I gave it to my daughter. She loves it, but I decluttered it out of my collection quite possibly sooner than any other item has ever been decluttered out of my collection. Then I got a NARS Laguna bronzer. I still have this. Here's the true tea. I haven't used this, but I did have a mini NARS Laguna bronzer that I fell in love with, which is why I bought a bigger size of it. This is a mini, actually. I think I had a sample size that I fell in love with, which is why I bought the bigger size, the mini versus the sample, because I loved it. I fell in love with it. I panned it in my project pan, and I just put my fingers in this, but I haven't used this yet because of all those things. But I love this bronzer and I will use it. Apparently I had a thing for bronzer because I also purchased the Juvia's Place Bronze Duo in medium, and I really thought that this was going to be the color I went for, but this is very almost blushy on my skin tone. This is beautiful, and I was like, that's a yellow bronzer. I don't know about that yellow bronzer. This is beautiful. It's a beautiful bronzer. So super happy to have this in my collection. I also picked up the Hourglass Nude Bronze Light. It's the first Hourglass full-size product I've ever had, and I think I had just gotten done panning a blush by Hourglass and really just fell in love with Hourglass powders. And Hourglass came to Ulta Beauty. So I had to get something, show my love, and that is what I picked up. I also got the Nambia color stick by Juvia's Place. This is obviously not my color, but I picked it up thinking it would be a great contour, and it's too warm toned for a contour. And despite how dark it looks, it actually works really well as a bronzer during the summer months when I am quite a bit tan. I also picked up the Sarah Happ Lip Dream Slip that I haven't even used. I picked it up because it came with a lip scrub that I also haven't even used. What is my problem? I picked up the ColourPop Cream Shadow, and this is in the shade Camouflage. And despite what it looks like, I actually have used this. It's just really dark. It's super dark on my skin tone. I bought it because I thought it was going to be a replacement for my MAC paint pot, but it is rather dark. It doesn't look good as an eye primer on me, so unless I'm wearing a really dark color. So I very rarely get any usage out of it. I picked up some Ritual Defee. My friend Mary loves Ritual Defee, and she had been talking about Ritual Defee incessantly for quite some time. So I was like, I really need to check out this brand, and they came to Ulta Beauty. They were in Ulta Beauty. So I picked up a blush and a highlight, and with the pickup of the blush and highlight, I got a free one as well. So I ended up getting 2 blushes and a highlight. And you know, I really struggled with this brand at first. I was like, these are too hard. These are cream products. These are too hard. I'm not sure how to work with them. They're too hard. I can't do it. But then the more, I'm trying to get this one open, the more and more I used them and tried to figure them out, the more and more I love them. So this is the highlight, and this is in the shade Moon Pillar, and then these are the blushes, and they are in the shade Lovesick and Desire. The bad news is that they are starting to smell different than what they smelled like a year ago. So I would say that these, of all the cream products that I've had in my collection, this Lovesick one specifically started to turn so much quicker. See, that's the only one that really smells, is Lovesick. The other 2 smell perfectly fine. Lovesick smells not great. So I would say this has only been in my collection for a year, and I have plenty more cream products that have been in my collection for well over a year that don't smell as bad as this one does currently. I have a Milk Makeup bronzing stick that I just put into my Shop My Stash because it just started to smell, and that's been in my collection for 4 years. So I'm a little disappointed on how quickly this turned. This was my favorite of the two. This is called Lovesick. It's so pretty. I will continue to use it until it starts to grow or breaks my skin out, or I can't stand the smell anymore. But I have to be honest, the smell is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. The last things that I picked up from Ulta Beauty in the month of August are these things, and they are all palettes. So I do have palette roulette videos on these. These two are by Lime Crime. This was my first adventure into Lime Crime, and currently there are 2 of the 3 palettes that I have in my collection from Lime Crime. I do have, for my birthday, a cart going on Ulta, and I will be purchasing another Lime Crime palette because my friend in the comments, you know who you are. I will be purchasing that XL. I love their formula. It's so good. It's so good. And then I also picked up the Nabla Midnight palette. And I can't remember if I had the black and white one first or this one first. I can't remember how those panned out, but this, just the blues, these 2 blues right here called my name. This is not my favorite. I love the palette. I love the palette, but I wish I had picked up a different Nabla palette. But these, you guys, are so pretty. I can't let it go. It's not my favorite palette. This blue is probably the worst navy blue that I have in my collection, but those 2 shades specifically, I can't not have them. When I think through the lens of everything I picked up in July, and this being about monitoring my spending and whether I'm using the products, I think that I've used everything but these 7 products here. So of all those things, I do think that the ratio is probably really good for what I spent and used versus what I spent and haven't used. However, I do think I made some pretty poor purchasing decisions when it comes to certain things because I purchased them for one reason or another instead of because I actually needed them, wanted them, whatever, and then haven't really used them. So both of these, this was because I needed to be a completionist. This was because I needed it for one certain outfit when I'm certain I had other lipsticks I could have used. And this was to replace an item that I already love in my collection, and I picked the wrong shade because it's what was there. I don't know that that was super smart. Everything else I have used, I love, is in my collection. There's a few items that have made it to declutter, but there's also a few items that I've made and used entirely, right? Went into my empties. In August, I picked up 2 things. 50%, in August, 50% of what I purchased went into declutter. That's not saying a whole lot. I mean, that is a big number, right? But I only purchased 2 things in August. So I purchased the Ulta Beauty foundation and concealer. I kept the concealer. Of all things, I hate concealer. We all know that I am not a concealer wearer. I kept the concealer because the concealer is actually quite good. The foundation, I hated so much. It was the Say What, right? No. Is this Say What? No, this is Stay Woke. It was a Say What foundation. I got it in shade T1N, I believe. Fair Lady T1N. Maybe it was the wrong shade for me. I think it was just a smidge bit the wrong shade for me at this point, you know, when I purchased it. So I waited a couple months and tried it again when I was a little more pale, and I still hated it. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it. It just sat on my skin in the absolute worst way. And I was really excited about that foundation. I had my daughter going to a store that I couldn't get to that I knew had that foundation to purchase that foundation for me because I wanted to try it so dang bad. I was so disappointed with that foundation, but I really like the concealer, which is strange because I don't like concealers. But then this has been in my collection now for a year. That's the other thing that it still smells fine. That's the other thing that this series does for me, is wake me up to how long things are in my collection that maybe shouldn't be in my collection for this long anymore. There's that. So anyways, the sun is winning. winning, but we made it through everything. So what do you guys think about the things that I hauled in July and August, and my usage of them, my thoughts on them, my everything's on them? Hit me up in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. What did you purchase last year that you're not currently using? I would love to hear that too. Let me know I'm not the only one out here that's doing this. With that said, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. I hope that you loved it so much that you're going to give it a thumbs up. I also really do hope that you loved it, or me, so much that you're considering subscribing before you go. I would love to welcome you into my crazy, awesome YouTube fam here. I hope that you all are doing well. I hope that you and yours are healthy. I hope that you are all loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye, friends.